And we are recording. Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Epstein. I am an elite Pro 8 with a company called LifeVantage, and I am so grateful to be able to be here today with everybody. We are at the end of this year now, and 2020 is coming up. And what's your 2020 vision? So I'm going to be talking about overcoming objections. So on overcoming objections, we've got the holidays coming up. So I've got to find my little thingy here. But first, I'm going to talk about product first. And I'll talk a little bit more about my background, but I've been a massage therapist for 45 years and a martial artist for 55 years. And all I've ever done in my life is traded time for money. I'll get more about that. But first, why are we here? In 1968, a doctor, a world-renowned doctor by the name of Dr. Joe McCord, discovered an enzyme called SOD. And by discovering that SOD, the rest is history. And what it is, the product is called Protandim, and it has created history throughout the world. And NRF2 activation is what it's called now. It's our staple product. And it's been proven, scientifically proven, to reduce oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days in 100% of the people. 40 years research behind it, 31 now published peer-reviewed studies, and we have 13 patents, and 7 of those patents are in the United States. And if you're on this call and you have not seen the ABC investigative report that came out with John Quinones back in 2005, please contact the person that thought of you of bringing you on this call, and you've got to take a look at it. And again, in 2 weeks, it's going to be 2020. Now, I like that number because think of 2020 vision. What's your vision for your life, your family's life, and your friends? And how many choices do you want to help other people create? And when doing so, you get to have the ability to create choices in your life. And what we're doing is actually biohacking DNA. We have the ability to biohack DNA and crack the code of our own health through gene expression, with several categories that are changing the world, and we are at the forefront of this giant wave, and it's called Nutrigenomics. But I want to briefly talk about these categories. Now, our staple product is called Protandim NRF2, and I'm just going to show you a couple of the bottles here. Now, we have something that's called a Vitality Stack, and I know it's going to be changing here soon, but I want to talk about the ultimate biohackers kit. I've been in nutrition for 35 years, and I have never seen anything that gives you this ability. So in our biohackers kit, number 1, I want to talk about this first. The thing that causes all disease in life. Now, by the way, I'm not a scientist and I'm not a doctor, so just so you know that. And we're not making any claims of treat and cure, prevent, or mitigate anything. But NRF1 activation, what does that do? This has the ability to help repair mitochondria, dysfunctional mitochondria. Mitochondria is the building blocks of our cells. And when mitochondria breaks down, we break down. We have an energy source in the mitochondria. We have thousands of organelles in each mitochondria, and it's called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And as that weakens, we get weakened. So they have proven that all disease stems from dysfunctional mitochondria. So when you have the NRF1 activation in your body, it helps repair that. You're helping repair and strengthen your DNA. Then what happens is it creates something called oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is a mutation of our cells. It's normal cells that become abnormal, and it's caused from the foods we eat, the air we breathe, the additives to the food, to the water, and so forth. And NRF2, this one pill, not an ingredient in here, has 31 published peer-reviewed studies behind it. And this is proven to reduce oxidative stress on an average of 40% in 30 days. And this is linked directly to well over 200 major disease processes. All disease stems from dysfunctional mitochondria. Over 200 major diseases stems from the oxidative stress, which is the rusting in the inside of the body. But as you're repairing the mitochondria, it increases the oxidative stress. So this is the 1-2 punch that we had: repairing, removing the debris. Now what we have, which solidifies everything, and I've been studying this for quite a long time, and it's called, far before we announced that we have this, and it's called Protandim Synergizer, NAD. Now, I don't know if any of you out there have ever done caloric restriction, but there's something that's called autophagy, or they call it autophagy, and that's when you completely restrict all caloric intake. But think of this: what would it be like for you to go the rest of your life and only eating 800 calories? I'm going to remute. I hear some people, so hold on one second. I'll tell you what, if you're not muted, please mute. Thank you very much, because I don't want to change screens here. This has the ability, this NAD pathway, what it creates and enhances a protein called sirtuin. Now, when a person restricts caloric intake down to 800 calories a day, they increase this protein called sirtuin, and it creates the NAD pathway where it makes the body really healthy. So what ends up happening is people just can't do that. Now, there are other products out there that are called NAD, but when you do the caloric restriction, it increases the sirtuin protein by 94%. These other products that are out there increase the NAD pathway by 2%. But in 24 hours, because we have activation, this increases that sirtuin protein and the NAD pathway by, you ready for this, 100% in 24 hours. Now, we have a 1-2-3 punch. The three of these all together activate each of itself back and forth up to 1,800% more effective in the body. That means 1,800% with the Protandim, NRF1, NRF2, and the NAD. And you could look up all these studies because they're all scientific based. The other part of the ultimate biohacker is our ProBio. And what we have in this, it has something also that's called Wellmune. That's a trademark product that's inside of this. But do you know that most all probiotics that you take never ever make it to the gut? 96% of all probiotics don't make it to the gut. Why? Because the stomach acids eat it. This has a covering called BioHACK, and they look like little round peas, if you will, and it's time release where it bypasses the stomach acids and makes it to the gut, the friendly flora, where the bacteria is open and it's absorbed and friendly. Now think of this as seeds. What's the other part of the seeds? Is the fertilizer, and that is, the other part of that is the prebiotic. When you take the prebiotic, it goes in like the fertilizer and waits to bring the probiotic in like the seeds. So these products are the main part of our ultimate biohackers kit, and also we have a fish oil. Now think of this. When was the last time that you bit into a fish oil? And if you did, you probably don't ever want to do it again. Most fish oils are rancid. Why? Because it's oxygenated. It's between 24 and 72 hours that it sits in oxygen. It's esterified and denatured. It's heated twice to get the EPA and the DHA out of it. This is not heated. It uses these giant presses, and from catch to capsulation is within 6 hours. And you bite into one of these, it tastes like lemon lime. This is a very, very powerful thing. And anybody that you know and love should be on these 6 products. Take a look further into that. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I do want to talk about this. The next thing I want to talk about is our skincare. I use this, and this is a 4-stage, now actually a 5-stage process, which is really great. NRF2 activation in here. We have all of the patents on NRF2. Nobody else has it in the United States. There's one other company in Europe that has NRF2, and it doesn't have the same properties or science backing that we have. Number one, it has a facial cleanser. I use that to shave. I don't use shaving cream, and I shave my wonderful bald head with it. But I do have hair, and if you look, it's actually black. It's not gray. And then we have something that's called a perfectant lotion. And that perfectant lotion goes 3 layers into the epidermis, which helps repair skin. Remember that our skin is our #1 organ, our biggest organ. Then we have an eye serum. It's not a glycolic peel where if you get it near your eyes, it burns it, but it repairs underneath your eye. And then we have our anti-aging cream, which is amazing. I use this every night. My wife tried to get me to use cleansers and creams on my face. I never wanted to do it. I don't live without this stuff. And now that we've launched this mask, I've been using this mask, and it's amazing because it has jojoba, it has NRF2 activation in it, and it also has charcoal. This stuff is just phenomenal. So this is an incredible series. Now our weight maintenance. Now part of the weight maintenance is also our prebiotic. And we also have a protein powder that is whey protein, 18 grams of protein, and it helps fill your tummy so you can go on with your day and have the energy. And the other part of that, when people say that you cannot spot reduce, well, with our fat burner, it's a metabolizing metabolic enhancer. It burns the visceral gut fat. The most dangerous fat is around your internal organs. And this has Senetrol in it as well, which is also a trademark name. And this is, this is a godsend. It does not like make you jittery like a lot of these fat burners out there. This is healthy for you. It has blood orange and other citrus bases that help burn that visceral gut fat. Now, we have a hair care system. I didn't want to break out the bottles, but this is the samples. But my wife and I own a hair salon. And most of the hair products that are in a hair salon are toxic. Yes, they're good products. They're by very well-known brand names, but there's a an app that is called Think Dirty. And if you use the barcode and check the products that are in your bathroom, and you go to the Think Dirty app, it'll tell you the toxicity levels, and anything over a 4 is not really good for you. And some of the products in our hair salon is 4, 5, 6, 7s, and 8s. Our hair shampoo doesn't come out all fluffy as foamy. It comes out more of a cream. Why? Because it's going in and cleansing the hair follicles. And most shampoos don't, they clog them. Our hair conditioner, it is scientifically proven to stop 57% less hair breakage in 7 days. And we have and this is, women love this, men too. Now, you can't judge me because I don't let my hair grow out. And then we have a serum, and this serum, after cleansing the hair follicle, what it does, it enhances and rejuvenates the hair follicle for hair growth. We don't say it grows hair, but go look at some of the photos of people before and after. I'll just say that. And then Axio. I drink this all the time. Now, we don't make any claims again, but my wife drank the decaf through her entire pregnancy of 2 children. And my baby loves this stuff. Again, it's recommended for 18 and over. So you take that at your own situation, but we love this stuff. And I drink it all the time. It gives you natural sustained energy. There's no artificial sweeteners, colors, or flavors. It's sweetened with monk fruit and stevia, so a diabetic can drink it. And it's naturally flavored. And I love the dragon fruit mostly. And it comes in decaf. Think of that, a decaf energy drink, and it comes in these little packets. You put it in your water, but if you pour it into a bottle of water, make sure you drink a little out, because water will go everywhere. The powder will go everywhere. And the last thing is Pet Tandem, and Pet Tandem is for our furry friends. I have my little pug down here who's 10 years old. It has collagen, it has omega-3, and it has collagen, omega-3, and NRF2 activation. So with that, I want to get on to what I really want to talk to you about, and that's overcoming objections. I want you to pay attention to this. We might go 5 minutes over, but I think it's really important that we do if we do. When you can align your heart with your thoughts and your emotions and create all 3 to be one, you've created a synergistic triad that is unstoppable. I want you to think about that. I'm going to say it again in a moment. The biggest hurdle that people have in this industry of network marketing is overcoming people's objections. Confidence kicks in when you have what I just said. Let's talk about personal belief. If a person has limiting beliefs about themselves, it makes it hard for them to get out of their own way. I want to read this again. I want you to really think about this. When you can align your heart with your thoughts and your emotions, your feeling, and create all three to be one, you've created a synergistic triad that is unstoppable. Most network marketing companies have very little substance to offer. Not all, but many. And in many cases, they are far over-promising and under-delivering. Most are trying to sell and convince rather than having substance in their back pockets. Most companies just don't have that. Look, I'm not bashing other companies, but it is the way, and that's what gives network marketing a bad name. Remember that network marketing is a $200 billion industry. It's huge, huge. If you have a dream and you have a burning desire to achieve that dream and you really understand what it is, you'd be willing to do whatever it takes to create that. And I'm going to share some ideas and strategies that may help you. Remember, it all starts with your own mindset and your own personal belief. Most people are used to trading time for money. Their parents and their grandparents all did the same. So if a person comes up to you and says, hey, I just found this thing and we're going to become rich and free, they virtually cannot get past the thoughts of trading time for money. And it's embedded into their own mental DNA. You may be speaking to them about the next best thing, but they can't hear what you're saying through their mental programming. So think of this. What did you think about when you were first approached about network marketing? Yeah, enough said. So about me, just a little bit. My parents did network marketing back in 1970 and 71 when I was a very young kid in my 20s, or not 20s. I was like 12 or 13 years old, something like that, 14. And they never had success, and they struggled because all they knew in their life was to trade time for money. As I got older, I wanted to have kids. I've been a martial artist for 55 years, and I've been a massage therapist for 45 years, and all I've ever did in my life is traded time for money. If I have a body on my table, I'm getting paid. If I have a student in front of me, I'm getting paid. I'm also a musician, and I'm also a triathlete. And so I made a decision many, many years ago. Believe it or not, I've been in this business for 30 years. And all I could say is I've been failing my way to the successes of where I'm going. But when I joined LifeVantage, that's when I became a professional network marketer. Now, 19 years I've been married to my beautiful wife, who's been putting up with me for all these years, of 19 years. And her name is Paloma. And now I am 62 years old, and my son Mateo is 2 years, 3 months, and my son Micah is 9 weeks old. And it's because of this business that gives me the freedom to be here with these children all the time. Choices and freedom is the biggest commodity besides having good health. And we have all of these things covered. I get to take my kid Mateo to school. He goes to Montessori. He goes to gymnastics. He goes to swimming. He goes to music classes. And I get to be the only dad with all the other mothers there. Think about that. That's a blessing. I want you to think about this. If a person is willing to do what most people are not willing to do, they will have what most people will never, ever have. Now, the holidays are coming up. When you see friends and family over the next few weeks over the holidays, we're going to talk about objections now. But first things first, we're going to talk about 4 steps of overcoming objections, especially at the holiday gatherings. Now pay attention, guys. Do not do a sales presentation at your gatherings. Enjoy the time and become friends with them. During your conversations there, Be a good listener. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. When people are telling you what's going on in their life, don't be thinking about trying to tell them something. Listen to what they're saying. Find their pain in what they're saying and say, wow, man, I hear you. So I'm going to tell you a few different things. So let's say you're talking to Uncle Tommy and you say, hey, Tommy, and he's telling you that, you know, he just lost his job, or his wife just lost her job, and he fell and his back has been killing him, and his wife's knee's been hurting. And you say, hey, listen, Uncle Tommy, based on what you just said, there's something that I'd really love to share with you that may resonate with exactly what you're talking about. But you know what, Uncle Tommy? Now's not the time to talk about it. So give me your number and let me contact you after the party, okay? So 4 steps of overcoming objections. And really, it's very important that you don't throw up on people. Number 1, learn to be a great listener. Number 2, relate to people. There's 3 things to really say about relating: feel, felt, and found. You've heard that before. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that. Your story, remember, everybody has your own story. Your story will never, ever, ever change. How you got into this, the struggles that you went through, and so forth. But if you don't have a story that relates to the conversation about talking to somebody about this, use somebody else's story. And the last thing is from our great Eric Worre, is if I would you. Now, I've been using that for a long time, but he's solidified that very well. If I were to show you something that would help your life, would you take a look at it? So ask questions. And again, don't throw up on them. Be a great listener. I can't say that enough. And find their pain. So I'm going to give you 10 objections. Number 1, I'm really busy and I don't have time to start anything new. Hey, look, Uncle Tommy, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. But let me tell you what I found out. I found out that I have something that I could share information that really resonates with people. And once they take a deeper look, they're very interested in finding out more information. So let me ask you a question. That's a great thing. And write that down. When you're talking to somebody, say, let me ask you a question. If you are that busy, so this is the answer to that. What is it in your plans for your family's future to create the time that you deserve? If you don't have the time now, when are you going to have it? They then listen to what they say. Really listen to what they say. Don't start thinking about telling them something before you listen to what they say. If you could fit something into the nooks and crannies of your day, would that give you the ability to at least look at more information? So you're trying to get them to the next invite, to the next stage of looking at this. Okay, number 2, I just don't have the money to get in at this time. Again, listen and relate and say something like, you know, I bet it's hard to come up with that extra money. I can understand that, especially during the holidays. But listen, Joe, if you were able to get the money and after the information that you've seen, could you see yourself partnering up with me then? And then so remember again, stories sell and facts tell. So some of you I won't mention the people's name, but there's 3 people that I know in this business that have done these things. I have a friend that sold his tree from his front yard to get in. Another friend sold his motorcycle, and another woman that I know had yard sales to get the money. If you could see the vision, we can do this. And even you could share this information and for like with the Platinum Pack, pre-sell your products. If it comes down to that and you need that money, remember, if you can use a credit card, by the time it hits your mail, it's going to be about 20 to 30 days. Pre-sell it, and when you get your product, give it to them. If you have make sure that you're muted, please. Okay, number 3. It's one of those pyramids. Excuse me, I need a drink. Those pyramids make me drink Axiom. People at the top make all the money. If someone says this to you, guess what? You've probably said too much. Ask them a question. So what's a pyramid to you? Talk about how traditional business are actually a pyramid. Think of our government. Think of the school systems. Think of the insurance systems. Think of Ford Motor Corporation. Do you think that the janitors will ever make as much money as the CEO? You know, in network marketing, the janitor, if you will, if you take a pyramid and flip it like this, everybody's the center of their own business, and they can create the balance as much and as big as they want, and anybody can make far more money than the CEO of a network marketing company. There's also a cute comic that's on YouTube, and it's called "Is It a Pyramid Scheme?" It's really great because when someone gives you that kind of guff, send them to this and they'll let them watch that. And if you haven't watched it, you've got to watch it. And think of this, Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, owns a network marketing company, Pampered Chef. Number 4, I need my doctor's approval. So ask your doctor this if you need his approval. Hey doc, is reducing my oxidative stress a good thing to do? And if he or she doesn't know that, educate them. Send them the PubMed or bring hard copies. We have 31 published peer-reviewed studies on PubMed. And think of this, when a doctor says, I want you to take this medication, they take it without ever questioning it. And remember, Protandim is a food. Number 5, I'm just not a salesperson. I don't want to sell to my friends and family. Look, the holidays are here. Again, be a good listener. Relate with them. And people love to buy, but they do not like to be sold. We are storytellers. As network marketers, the professionals are storytellers. We relate to people, help find someone's pain. People have emotional pain, physical pain, financial pain. Create a game plan for them that they could see the bigger picture. If I could show you a way that you could create this without selling, would you take a look at this information? Now think of this for a second. Think of your favorite restaurant. Let's say Ruth Chris for me, and I'm sorry about the vegetarians. I used to be a vegetarian a long time, but I'm just using a restaurant. Let's say I love that restaurant, and I send several people to that restaurant, and over several years, those people love the restaurant, and they send other people who send other people who send other people. Do you think that that restaurant is sending me a thank you check? Nope. But guess what? LifeVantage is sending a thank you check on the 15th of the month, every single month, to people that choose to build this business. People that choose to create choices in other people's lives. And in doing so, creating choices in other people's lives creates choices in your life. And I'm living proof from a person that was selling my guitars and my truck and having to stoop as low as borrowing money from people to pay rent. I put myself in a position I'm not having to do that today. So we have something that everybody needs. People just need to open their mind and understand this. A mind works like a parachute. If the mind is closed, it ain't receiving things. If a parachute's closed and you jump out of an airplane, well, I don't need to say any more than that. Number 6, I want to try the products first. Again, going back to relate. I understand how you feel, Tommy, but let me ask you a question. When you take your vitamin C, do you feel it? If the doctor has you on high cholesterol medication, you go, oh my God, this month I could feel that my cholesterol is 20% less. No, you don't feel it. Look, we don't make claims. We don't say we treat, cure, prevent, or mitigate anything. But my suggestion to somebody is, listen, let's take the product for 1 month of every decade that you're alive. And I believe that that's what you'll get the full benefit. And I got to be in a room with Dr. Joe McCord, and he said that specifically. For every decade you're alive, take 1 bottle of Protandim. So if you're 60 years old, take 6 months worth, and you might see some different results. Number 7, I've seen the products on Amazon and eBay. Listen, I want to say this. If you've seen them on eBay and Amazon, those products are illegally being sold. Our products are sold through distribution of networks of people, distributors. And think of this, a lot of those products are counterfeit. Those products are, just think, if you're buying products on Amazon and you're going, oh, well, I didn't have to pay the tax on it and I got it $3 less. But what about if that product's sitting in someone's, lives in Barstow, California, and it's 125 degrees. It's been sitting in their trunk for 2 weeks or 2 months, and then they decide to sell it. A lot of people get sick from that kind of a product, and also counterfeit products. Only buy from a reputable LifeVantage distributor. And by the way, if you go out trying to sell that product on those sites, you can have your distributorship taken away like that. Now, in the very beginning, I want you to know, number 8 here, my spouse is not supportive. My wife threatened me divorce if I did another network marketing company. And thank God I didn't listen to her. But she's been my biggest rock and my biggest supporter through all of this. She really has, because she knew that I had a dream and a burning desire to achieve it, and she just let me go. So spouses, a lot of them don't support. So listen, sit down with your spouse, talk to he or she about your future plans, your financial future, your financial freedom, your time freedom, and what you're going to do. What is your retirement like for your future? And, you know, create a dream board. Now I have a big one, but I'm going to show you. This is my dream board from 20 years ago. If you look at the car over here, you can tell that's an older car. And if you look at the cell phone there, it's an old time cell phone. But everything on this dream board came true. Everything, including the one baby here. Now I made a new dream board, and one thing has come through on this. And that is, in this little spot right there, there's 2 children jumping into a swimming pool, but one's a girl and one's a boy. Now I have 2 boys. But a dream board, and mine sits directly across from where I sit, and I look at it, I visualize it, I imagine that I already have it. And when you could put that thought process, again, thoughts, brain, emotions. I mean, thoughts, heart, and emotions brings this all together. So what would it be like if you can create those choices in your life by helping other people create choices in their life? It's huge. Number 9, so get your spouse and show her that you mean business. Show her that you care, or he, that you really care about taking your family. Because remember, it's a $200 billion industry. It's bulletproof. Number 9, I already take vitamins and supplements. Why should I take these? Then if so, talk about PubMed. Remember, we have 31 published peer-reviewed studies. Share our biohacking technology, our oxidative stress, the theories of NRF1, NRF2, and NAD, those 3 theories of the aging behind it. We have what every single person needs. We have the science behind it that nobody else has. That's called opportunity. And number 10, you ready for this one? I feel like the David Letterman. I hate network marketing. How many times have you heard that? But again, don't rebuttal against them. Relate to them. Hey, John, I understand how you feel. I felt the exact same way. I couldn't stand it until I looked at it. One of my distributors, I won't mention his name, Arthur, told me to pound sand for 2 years. He would put his hand in front of my face and get away. I don't do vitamins. I'm a doctor. I'm smarter than you. I've got degrees. You don't have it. 2 years I talked to him until he finally listened to his wife, Kelly, and she got him to look at the ABC investigative report, and his jaw dropped. And now he's one of my biggest distributors in my organization, and he's one of the most amazing best friends, both of them best friends to me, because we're building relationships in this, and he's one of the biggest advocates and helps so many people in this. So in our company and outside, and if even people that aren't on his team, he never says, well, what team are you on? That's the beautiful thing about the relationships that we're building. So if you have a story, share your story, remember, of how you got to where you are. And if you don't have that story, use somebody else's story. Look, who's involved with our company? How about Erin Brockovich? She's one of the biggest she owns the biggest stock in LifeVantage now. And we're on the Russell 3000, the Index 3000. We were off of that and we're back on it because we're publicly traded and our stock is doing great. We have a Stevie Award, and what a Stevie Award is like an Academy Award for products and different things in the medical field. So we have the bronze medal for that. The first and the second, the gold and the silver goes to products that, like medical devices, and we're the product for the Vitality Stack. That's so huge, and that's information that people can share. You can share with people. Ray Dalio founded the largest hedge fund in the world, and he bought 2% of our stock. Think about what we have. So I want to reiterate. I can't even say the word. But anyways, go over the top 10. I am really busy and do not have the time to start anything new. Number one, I just don't have the time to get in at this time. And I don't have the money to get in at this time, excuse me. It's one of those pyramid things. I need my doctor's approval. I am just not a salesperson. I don't want to sell to my friends and family. I want to try the product first. I have seen these products on Amazon and eBay. My spouse is not supportive. I already take vitamins. Why would I want to take these? And I hate network marketing. Those are 10 things. You're going to come up with a lot more than that, guys. But I'm going to tell you, if you're willing to do what most people aren't willing to do, you will have what most people will never have. And having choices in your life and freedom, it's unexplainable in how it is. For me personally, to be able to wake up every day with my son, to take him to school, to do what I want, to make my own choices, to pick him up from school, and from driving from school back to home, that's one of the greatest things that I've ever experienced in my life. And you that are parents out there, you understand. I'm an old guy with a young body and a young thinking mind, but now I get to live life with children. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to get on here tonight. Remember again, 2020 is 2 weeks away. What is your vision for your future? Do you deserve to have those choices? Are you willing to talk to people when you don't feel comfortable? Learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. This is very important to share this information. Almost selfish of you if you don't share this information with people, knowing what you know about what we have. We're changing the world of science. We are already doing that. We're biohacking DNA. We're changing gene expression one person at a time. And you could get to the point in firing your boss and bringing your spouse home and making the choices by helping others have that so you can have that. So I want to thank, again, everybody. Merry, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever your holiday is. Happy New Year. Please, please be safe out there so you could enjoy life. Drive carefully. Watch out for those wackos on the road. And take 2020 to be magic in your life and your family's life. I love you all so much. Thank you again for taking the time. We are LifeVantage, and we are biohacking DNA, and we're changing this world one person at a time. God bless, and rock on. Cheers.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thank you,
Michael.
Michael.